everyone, and welcome to another video on our door and window tool for ArchiCAD. In this episode we're going to be looking at the latest improvements to infinite openings. So let me first show you the list of those elements in the object. So here you can see we have made several improvements, and we're going to break this video up into chapters down below so that you can go through these improvements at your own choice and focus on the things that are important to you. So first to note is the Polygon opening element panel added. So now your operable elements can be different shapes other than a rectangle or an arched head. We've got a second frame and mullion piece added to the profile. So now when you develop a profile for those components, there are two pieces to that profile that are independent. The subframe, which is the element that wraps around the whole unit, that now follows a polygon shape. So it used to be just a rectilinear element. Now it will follow the polygon element. We've added custom profiles to our external sill, so that's pretty self-explanatory, and we'll show you how that works. We've added two new door types, roller and panel lift door types, and these elements, the panel lift in particular, has a series of track elements that are associated to that, so you can accurately model a real-life representation. And finally, as you may have seen briefly at the beginning of this video, we've revamped the designer user interface. So that's an interface that gives you access to a limited series of functions within the object that you would just need on a day-to-day basis. So we've minimized that with the designer menu, and now we've made the designer menu just a graphical access to the catalog. So let's start with that item, because obviously it's right here in front of us. As you can see, we have access to a limited range of the overall components of this element by turning on this designer menu. If we turn that off, we will see all the elements. We have all the design elements there and all the opening elements there. In the standard menu, in the designer menu, that's reduced down to just access to the catalog items. So here we have the assembly catalog. Here you can see the opening catalog. We can go into any of these catalogs for the basic sort of elements that you need access to during the day, and you can pick and choose your configuration quite easily. There's also a little convenient function up here that allows us to change the size of these images in this interface. I'll just bump this up a little bit, and now we've got much larger images. I can take it down, and now we've got extremely small images. The extremely small images make it a lot easier to see a lot more. However, it might make it harder to define what it is you're looking at if you haven't carefully developed those images to work at this size. Okay, so the next item on the list is the roller and panel lift doors. So let's have a quick look at them. Okay, so if I want to access these new door types, all I need to do is go to the openings interface. If I had some already saved down here in my catalog, I could simply select one of them. It doesn't look like I have set any of those up yet. So let's go to the openings page. Let me just adjust this interface a little bit. Going to our operable element settings, we can see that we don't have it locked down by a catalog item. Just hide that panel. And we scroll, I think it's down near the bottom. Okay, here's the vertical folding door. So there are a couple of new items we put in recently. Here's our roller door and our panel lift door. So let's have a look at the roller door first. So the roller door gives us a series of vertical panels, and we now need to nominate down here which panels they are. I haven't updated this interface to have more a roller door image, but the right panel size is irrelevant in this function. So let's bump this number up to something a bit more similar of a roller door, over 2 meters. Let's say we'll have 20 panels. Okay, so let's now place this element and have a look. And there you can see all the elements. We've obviously got the 3D text showing there, so let's just turn that off conveniently in here. And there you can see a roller door. Use the node to open it, and the elements disappear above into a head track, which you need to set up using the head track element. On, And here we have a series of different types. So in this instance, we would want the circular for a roller door. That would be typical if it's a garage roller door. If it may be a security screen roller door, then you might have go back to the Polygon and have a different shape at the head. We nominate our positioning and we can set a series of sizes, obviously. Okay, and there we have our roller door. Now let's have a look at the panel lift door. So let's go back to our operable elements, go down to our panel lift door. Now the panel lift door is effectively the same as the roller door in the way the panels work, as in the numbering of those panels. We will probably only want 4 in a typical panel lift door. However, there is another aspect to this and the way it operates. We go back into the head track. And we change this to panel lift. Click OK. And now you can see we have a series of rails. We can affect the size and positioning and profile of these rails here in the 2D element. You can also use the settings in the head track interface to adjust the configuration. So here we can set the radius, and we can also use this to turn off the upper rail. So if we set this radius to 0, that tells the upper rail to disappear. We can also set the sizes and position of the bar and winding mechanism, as well as the positions and lengths of the rails. One of the great benefits of these two new door types, we can put some details into these panels individually. So if we go back to our operable elements and we differ the styles, then we go to our opening panel, and from panel 1 to 4 we can set different configurations. So let's go up to panel 3 and put a window in that. Okay, so we could multiply that window and we could put a series of glass panels in here, or solid panels as well, and we can do that independently for each panel. Okay, the next development was the custom profile external sill. So let's have a look at that. I'll do this in this window here. So firstly we need to go to our sill, turn the sill on, show it in 2D, and choose a type. So we have the 3 that we originally had, the timber, brick and metal sill, and now we also have the custom profile sill. So if we click on that, there's some basic positioning aspects. This is the XY coordinates of the profile, but typically not best to edit this profile in here. This is best done in the 2D view. So let's go to our hotspots, shape, profiles, click OK, and now this is our sill element that we have out here. So this is the origin of our sill, which will be back here at the frame. So let's just show defaults. This defaults element always stumps me. Turn that defaults off, and now we can start moving these elements. So you see as I move that node, my sill element above is adjusting. And basically we can then go ahead and create any profile we want. Typical profile, very roughly drawn. Let's have a look at that in 3D. And there you can see the profile that we just drew. So obviously with that you can cover any actual profile you're going to use to see how it is actually going to work in your design with your details. The next element on the list is the subframe follows the polygon element. Okay, so we'll show this element and we'll set this up for our last element as well, the polygon opening panel. So I'm just going to go into this elevation because it's always easier to draw your polygons in the elevation view. I'm going to go to shape, I'm going to set it to Polygon, and profiles to profile guide. And now I have my nodes to change the shape of this element. So I'm just going to do something quite random. With this sill element as well, if I go back into the sill, you can offset the sides. So I could actually bring this sill in, a bit more. And there the sill element's brought in. Might be easy to add some 3D nodes for that. And also the cut for the sill needs to be adjusted. Okay, so now that we've got our polygon shape, let's go to our subframe and hit apply. So as you can see, when it's a polygon, we really only have access to the one width because we haven't set up the array to control the widths all the way around independently. Let's extend this out a little bit more so we can see it. Okay, it's on the other side. And there you can see our subframe following the polygon. Okay, next on the list is the second frame and mullion pieces added to the profiles. However, I'm just going to do this last one because we're in a polygon element at the moment. So I'm just going to show you how to do a polygon opening. So we'll do the polygon opening now, and then we'll move back to the second frame profile. Let's go back around to the front of this element. Go into its settings to openings, change it to a casement window. Okay, now that we've got this element, let's go to the panel and let's set this to polygon panel, apply. Click OK. And now you can see we have our casement panel here. Thought I did left opening on that. 3D symbol, standard. Thank you. So now you can see we've also got nodes around this panel that perform the same role as the nodes of the other polygons. So we can start to bring this element down and in line with our shape. This is something that also might be best done in the elevation view so that you can get these nodes precisely in the right position. And there we have our polygon opening element within our polygon window. Let's just open that casement up. So set the 3D opening, click OK, and there you can see our polygon panel. Okay, so the final thing on the list is the second profile for frames and mullions. So let's have a quick look at that. Okay, so let's place another element. Let's go into the settings. Let's go to our panel arrangement. And let's throw in a mullion. Turn that on. Now let's go to our frame profile. And you can see over here we have the two-part profile added. So here it's just set to rectangular. So this second part profile is for the polygon. So if we set that to polygon and we go down into the 2D, you can see we now have a polygon to adjust our frame. So let's just make a minor adjustment to this to demonstrate that. Now we go in and turn on the two-part profile. You can access the shape here, but obviously it's a lot easier to do it in 2D. And here we have a second piece to our frame. Is that locked down or set to default? Not locked down. Defaults. Turn that off. And now we can edit this other piece of the frame as well. Obviously I wouldn't expect you to do this type of configuration, but it demonstrates the two separate pieces. Okay, now let's have a look at the mullion. Go to mullions and transims. Turn off our matched frame. Set to polygon. Go have a look. So now we have a polygon frame here. Let's just add a node in. Now we can go to our second part profile, turn that on, and here we have another element that we can manipulate. And obviously if that mullion moves, so if we go to our panel arrangement, we uncheck that, and you can see the two pieces are an adjoined unit. One of the main purposes of this function is so that you can model accurately composite window frames that have an aluminium extrusion on the outside and a timber profile on the inside. Let's have a look at this in 3D just for fun. Okay, there you can see our interesting framed window. Okay, and that covers our recent updates to infinite openings. Hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I hope you look forward to applying these new advancements to your processes. Thank you for watching.